Dave and Kevin back with you. Great to be back with you. DallasSportsandMore.com. We got a lot to talk about today, and we're going to get right to it. So we're going to start with the NCAA men's final and the tournament in general. Kev, what's your take on the tournament this year?
Well, actually, I paid absolutely no attention. All my attention was focused on the NIT, where my Houston Cougars went out in the first round. And then I turned my attention to the NCAA.
Well, TCU had a strong show.
Yeah, TCU did have a strong show.
So there was a lot of local interest in the NIT, which used to be the big tournament.
Used to be, yeah, many moons ago. Everybody wanted to play the final game in Madison Square Garden. That used to be the big thing. But the big dance is taken over with the play-in games and the 64-team game tournament. My take on it, I loved it. Anytime you can get some upsets, anytime the Final Four isn't all four number ones, I'm in favor of it. And I just think it speaks to a lot of different things when it comes to rankings and conferences and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I think there's, and then you take a look at it. Gonzaga plays out west, who's in the finals against the perennial powerhouse North Carolina. Being out in the West, nobody ever sees Gonzaga. They don't even know they're a power basketball school. And they've lost one game this year. I think they're 36-1. I think North Carolina's lost maybe 4 or 5, something like that. And but they don't get any credit.
Yeah, Gonzaga takes a lot of heat for the conference they play in, but I mean, then they've come out of it 19 years in a row now.
Yes.
But they've made the second weekend, a ton of times.
Right.
So they don't just show up and disappear in the tournament.
No.
A lot of the media's take about this tournament now is that there's some missing star power, and I actually think for once we're getting the final game we deserve. In North Carolina, you have a team that was it Villanova that beat them last year on pretty much a buzzer beater, and they've got a ton of those kids back. I think 4 or 5 are back, so they're hungry. They want revenge. You don't see that a lot, where you get a team that makes the final and then the talent doesn't disappear, or it does and they're no good the next year. No, we've got a team that kept its talent and is back in the final this year, and going against a team that is finally making its first finals appearance.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're not one and done kind of guys. And that's what you're talking about with respect to them coming back and still having some talent. They're the most talented team in the tournament, but as you know, talent doesn't always win. There's chemistry, there's luck, there's a lot of things that go into it. So,
and both these teams are well coached. So, I think we're going to get a good game. Gonzaga is known for its defense this year.
Yes.
To me, here's the key to the game. And, I'm far from the college basketball expert. I watch a ton of basketball, mostly all NBA. This guy, is it Karnowski, the big 7'1" Polish center, who's supposed to be 300 pounds. He's 7'1" and thick, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's a bit above that 300 marker.
Yeah.
But every time I see him play, he gets the ball down low, and here comes a double team. And I've never seen someone say, prove to me that you're going to be this huge scoring threat where we need to double you. And so what happens is he's really good at finding the open man out of a double team.
Right, exactly.
And I'm going through their statistics the other day. They've got 3 or 4 guys with heavy minutes that shoot almost 40% from 3. Well, a lot of those are because they're getting wide open looks.
Exactly.
If I'm playing against him, I do not double him. And you know what? I'm going to be real interested to see if North Carolina does, because they actually have some bigs. They don't have 7'1", but they have 6'9", 6'10".
That play 7 foot.
Solid, big bodied guys that are comfortable banging in the paint. I want to see them not double him, and then those guys have to create their own shots. And I think that will be the key to the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the one thing Gonzaga can do, is shoot the lights out, which takes away a little bit of North Carolina's rebounding advantage, because I think North Carolina is a really strong rebounding team. But if they can start making those shots, the better, all the better. Out of the double team like you're talking about, all the better for them. If North Carolina, which has some speed out on, they have some talent and speed out on the wings, they should be able to cut back on some of that. But North Carolina's another 3-point shooting team, and getting the 2-pointers is going to be tough, because I think the defense, the perimeter defense for the Zags is pretty good. So they might have to depend more on 2s and 3s this time around.
I think I believe as we sit today, North Carolina is a 1.5 point favorite. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it is.
And
exactly right.
Just calling Gonzaga a Cinderella is just not accurate. I mean, they're a legitimate good big program basketball team now. So
Yeah, they are. The only reason they get called a Cinderella is because they're not Kentucky.
Yeah.
They're not UCLA. They're not some of the bigger teams that you used to see in the finals.
yeah, and no one heard of them
Exactly.
before.
Yeah.
They started their run
Yeah.
a couple decades ago.
It's like a Belmont who is not a Cinderella team either. They're a basketball school. You don't hear about basketball schools unless they're tied to a football program. But some of those schools like Belmont and Gonzaga, they have really, really good teams. They make it to the Sweet 16. They make it to the
Elite Eight.
The Elite Eight, and
Yeah.
then maybe they disappear. But they're never a Cinderella team if you follow any kind of basketball.
Is Gonzaga where John Stockton went to school?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, so I think we're going to get a close game. I just don't see any way with two well-coached teams. I think it's going to. I mean, a team might end up pulling away by 7 or 8 at the end, but I don't see one team just dominating or blowing out the other. There might be a game of runs, but North Carolina's too hungry. Both teams are too well coached. There's not. I don't think there's a great mismatch in talent. I think we're going to see a good game, and I think North Carolina's going to win.
Yeah, I agree with you. All I ever really want to see is a good game. I don't care what the matching is, but you always want to see just a good game. And you want to see a good game where both teams play well. You don't want to see a good game where the favorite plays poorly and the the team rises. You don't want to see that. You just want to see a good contested basketball game all the way through. And that's what I'm hoping that we get tonight. I agree with you. Personally, I like to see Gonzaga win.
I think I would like to see them win too. I'm rooting for them. I just think North Carolina's going to. Now I got to come back to this though. If they just double the big man down low and he's kicking it out to wide open threes, then I think that hurts him. I'm going to be real interested to see how they handle that matchup. Do you see North Carolina getting frustrated by running into a team that really likes to play defense and thrives on team defense, or do you think they're going to be? I mean, you can offset that a little with the fast break if they get out and run. I don't know how much the coach is going to put the reins on and want to call plays and slow it down because there's no. Neither one of these teams is really needing to go at a slow tempo or just dying to get out and run. So, I think we're going to get a classic tilt and some great basketball, and I will be tuned in. But switching back and forth between that and Yu Darvish's attempt for a perfect game that we're finally going to get.
Well, I'll do a live report from the stadium tonight because I will be there.
All right.
But I'm going to get back to your point before we leave that point and leave this segment here. I do want to say to you, when it comes to coaching, if you've got a team that loves to run and gun, and they've been running and gunning all year, and then you slow them down, you make them do something different than they're used to doing, it does frustrate them, and that could be an issue in this game.
I think Avery Johnson's ears are burning.
Yeah,
to change something at the end.
That's true. Yeah. So.
All right, so both of us have we have North Carolina winning.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Yeah,
but we're both rooting for Gonzaga.
Right.
Okay, all right. That's college basketball. We'll wrap that up, and we will move on to the Texas Rangers next. Again, Kevin and Dave, DallasSportsandMore.com, Dallas Sports and More on Facebook. Look forward to seeing a lot more of y'all in the near future.
Thanks.